All right, hey, it's Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, today, guys, I'm going to do one of the things that I love doing the most, and that's doing videos based on comments made by subscribers and people that follow Play Fast Football. What I do gives me the ability to interact with coaches all over the country and the ability to interact through comments and email messages and other things. And so when I get comments from subscribers that ask me to do a video on a certain topic, it's some of the favorite videos I do because the reason you're doing this in the coaching business is to try and help, if it helps, try and give back to a game and a profession that you've been in your entire life. It's now half of my life now. 50% of my life has been spent in coaching, so I want to give back, and when I can interact with subscribers, it's always a good feeling, and hopefully I can do videos that help. So today we're going to talk about using the jack and the min front. We did a video on the min front the other day, so I'm going to go back and talk about some of the ways we used to use them in our old 3-4 days. All right, so make sure you check out some of our sponsors, GameStrat, and sideline replay system that we use. We absolutely love Dome Hats, which is the headwear company that we use with Play Fast Football and at the current school that I'm at. The ability to create your own custom hat and tell a story with your hat is amazing, so check out Dome Hats. Baker Sporting Goods, which provides all of our team uniforms, our spirit packs, our undergame uniform stuff, our coaches gear, things like this hoodie. So make sure you check out Baker Sports. Difference USA, the ultimate striking machine. We have one in our weight room that we use mostly in the off season. You can get thousands of reps learning how to strike, elbows in, thumbs up, trying to get kids to use proper leverage with their hips and explode through the hips. So make sure you check out Difference USA. HighandTight, a ball security training aid that teaches skilled players the proper position and points of pressure to hold the ball where it needs to be held to eliminate fumbles. It gives you an auditory feedback when you're doing it right. If you don't hear the beep, you aren't holding the ball correctly, so it builds that muscle memory right away. And Just Play Football is the digital sports tool that I use for webinars and play diagramming. I just did a video for my Patreon site yesterday, and I did it all on Just Play with some diagrams and moving some guys around and drawing some things. So it's a powerful presentation tool. Make sure you check it out to draw plays and do some other things with your program, because it's more than just a play drawing diagram. Or play drawing tool. It's an educational way to present things to your players. So the other day I did a video on looking at the mid front that Georgia and Kirby Smart had kind of brought to light after doing some research on their package at Alabama, and basing it kind of off the tight front stuff that Dave Aranda and a lot of odd front guys have been using. And so Luke McGinnis wanted to know more about using a jack in the mid front. So the first thing I would say is the flexibility in that personnel group, whether you're a 3-3 team or a 3-4 team. The flexibility with more back-end players is they give you the ability to do more things with them, because it's standard not only in their natural skill set, but in the way you teach them in their position group. When you're an even front team, a lot of times you'll have DNs that have to drop, and you'll run some exotic stuff, whether they be some sim type looks, or those quote-unquote creeper looks or zone pressures or whatever it may be. Even front teams have always had the ability to drop defensive linemen, but the problem was how you coach them, how you get them in reps, how you get them in maybe fire zone, blitz circuits, or things where, if it's a guy that only drops once or twice a game, if that, where do you find the time to teach him properly is always been, in my opinion, one of the tough things to do with even fronts. So when you're playing a 3-3 or a 3-4 structure and you're playing with that jack or that outside backer that is a guy that naturally has to be able to cover to begin with, he's going to do those drills with his linebacker coach. He's going to be doing drills and all throughout the offseason and in season on drops and working on how to get to landmarks, and if he's part of pattern match stuff, learning how to pattern match. So it gives you that instant flexibility in coverage. So when I draw a 2x2, okay, right away the first thing that Jack does is he gives you the ability to possibly change who the fourth rusher is. All right, and I drew it up the other day, and I put it up in a scenario where the jack, all right, could actually be the dropper to this side, and the will could actually insert and be, all right, the fourth rusher. So the first thing it does is it, especially versus 2x2 sets, is it gives you the flexibility to change who the fourth rusher is, to change who the dropper is over there. All right, so it gives you that immediate flexibility from that standpoint. All right, when you go back to the old I look at it kind of in the old 3-4 days. We used to be a 3-4 reduction team. We used to be a field front team. The jack, not only he gives you that ability right now to have C-gap presence as a fourth rusher. All right. It also gives the ability to now use him in games on that side to where you can get the penetration games with the loop games there. All right. So you can get, the 4-eye either containing through penetration or, all right, trying to penetrate and then popping out late so that you can bring the jack under. It gives the ability versus certain run scenarios to possibly bring both of these guys under. All right. And then if you got pass, you could then, all right, loop the nose strong. So it gives you that fourth player, all right, to that side, and with the 4-eye or heavier 3 technique there, what it does, it allows you to bring all those 2-man games, and then you include the nose in a possible 3-man game. You can get even more exotic with the pass rush stuff where, you could run the pop here, you could bring the nose this way, and now bring the jack late under. All right, so it gives you a bunch of different things in pass rush, some games, some movement, some things you can do. All right, but to me, the other main ability is because the jack is a dropper, it now gives you the ability to do things. Normally in the old 3-4 defense, that guy in the NFL or in college or when we used to play it, that weak side rush, jack, whatever you want to call him, as a linebacker, he was a guy that had to at least be able to play curl flat. Depending on what you taught and how you taught it, he may not be a guy that's got to be a pattern match guy, but he's got to at least be able to play curl flat and at least to be able to handle possibly a back out of the backfield. So you were looking for that skill set for a guy to be able to cover, so that, all right, you could do some different things. Like now in the quote unquote exotic sim world, however you want to look at it. All right, you could walk the jack and the will up to this side here. All right, and then you could get yourself into a scenario where you're playing 3 deep. You're only going to bring a fourth. All right, you're going to try and get them to either keep the back in, all right, or turn the center a certain way so you can get a matchup on a back. You're going to try and get them to do something in protection. Okay, when in reality the blitz is actually going to come, or the rush is going to come from that safety there, and you're then going to play 3 deep, roll this safety down, and now the will's going to drop, the jack's going to drop, and the right safety, all right, is going to push to the middle. So from a 3 deep standpoint, it gives you the ability to drop a guy to that side to make him a curl flat player, and now as you drop him to that side in the sim blitz creeper blitz world, it's a way to kind of get the O-line to set the protection or get the back to stay in or do some things to one side while being able to drop guys in coverage and bringing a guy from the other side. So it's so simple, all right, from the old school 3-4 days, it's so simple with the things that you can do to make the looks different, all right, because that jack is a player that has the ability to drop, at least be a curl flat dropper or a guy that can possibly match it back out. I look at it from a standpoint of where now, you can bring, all right, some peel pressures to where you could possibly bring 6 and still have a post player free in the middle. Especially, for us with a 3-3-5 structure, kind of the way we play, we could now draw up some type of 6-man pressure to where we could keep the free safety in the middle to give us that post player. All right, because we have skills on the outside, we can now diagram, some type of pressure for us. All right, where we can feel comfortable leaving our skills on receivers, okay? So we could get us into some type of deal where, the pressure could be a deal where we are bringing 6 and the edge guys are the jack and let's say one of our other backers, all right? So now that we could use the 2 backers as peel players on the back, so if that back tries to release wide, we peel with the back, so it gives us the ability to send 6 and still play a free post player. All right, because that jack coming off the edge is a guy that should be able to peel with a back because of the generic makeup and the athletic ability of that jack backer. All right, if you were, I think the other thing it does, especially, possibly if I look at like 3-by-1 scenarios, if you wanted to drop 8 in 3-by-1 scenarios and you still wanted to get proper matchups maybe on the backside to where you don't want to be man-to-man on the backside, all right, you could put yourself in the possible scenario where I could see, all right, with the jack because of his ability, I could certainly see the jack as a guy where you could play, let's say for argument's sake, you could play your normal, all right, 2-read palms coverage to this side, take the backside safety to poach 3 vertical, however you call that coverage, whatever it is you call that coverage, whether you call it poach, stress, Gilligan, triangle, whatever you call the coverage, it's been called a million different things. You can now take, all right, the backside safety, push him over to play 3 verticals so that you could, all right, keep your static box the way you want to keep it. Keep your down safety or Sam Star, or whoever it is, as a 2-read player in between 2 and 3. He's going to be the wheel player of number 3. Keep your rules the same for the corner and the free safety to be able to play their 2-read coverage there. All right, keep the integrity of your box. But now, most of the time, what's going to end up happening is because the safety is over there to poach that number 3, in most worlds, you'd end up, all right, being locked man on the backside. And now what I think you can do in this theory is you could drop 8, and now the jack could become the guy that replaces the curl flat player or the safety that leaves. So now the jack could be a guy that drops here so that the corner can be protected to kind of drop and play, you know, more deep half concepts to where he's only worried about that single, all right, deep defending the verts, defending the post because the jack is underneath. And then if you happen to get the back out that way, instead of having to be locked in straight man, if the back is there, you can push the inside backer with him, and now you've got 2 underneath droppers. The jack's still going to have to run with the wheel, so he's still got to be a guy that can carry a wheel. All right, but you don't get necessarily, all right, all the time the same issues. When you get into that man-to-man world, when you're playing this type of coverage, so let's say we were bringing the jack, and we were playing, all right, we were playing this poach coverage or this style of coverage, we'd be in man on the backside here, and you'd have the will in man here. And what do you see in college all the time, especially into the boundary, is you get this scenario, and then you get all these kind of pick wheel routes, and you're stuck, all right, with that will chasing it man-to-man, all right, whereas you can put yourself in a little bit better scenario now. If you were to drop 8 and you don't have to be stuck in that man world, you can get the jack, all right, working wide curl flat with the will, okay, working inside hook curl with the corner off the half. All right, so you can gain some help from that corner. If you get that inside kind of snag, pick route, you can gain the corner on the wheel. You can put the jack in a better position to carry the wheel because he doesn't have to worry. You know, you still got to worry about being rubbed. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create that rub. But now you can get a little bit more exotic with what you're doing in those coverages because you can push the safety over there and still use the jack in coverage. And now you still get 3-on-2 to this side and 4-on-3 to that side. All right, so if they were to put the back strong, all right, now with the back set on the strong side, if you're going to get 4 strong, now you can use your backside backer, all right, to the front side and get 5-on-4 here because with the jack dropping, you still get 2-on-1 there. So, you know, the 3-4, the odd, that type of stuff, you know, you get into more drop 8 coverages where you can do some things if you're playing teams that throw the ball efficiently and effectively and you can't get home all the time or you're not getting home, you might be able to drop 8 and try and cover and take away windows a little bit more. So the flexibility of the jack over there to drop, to me, gives you a little bit more, you know, more versatile package. And then again, you know, if you don't have to use, however you play your defense, whatever your personnel is, if you don't have to use, if you can handle that side without having to use a backside safety, all right, now you keep the backside safety, and on that world, now you get a little bit more exotic with your where your guys are coming from with your rush, because again, you know, now you could possibly, with the backside safety to the single side, all right, add the jack, spin the safety down, put the corner on the half, all right, you know, possibly add the will, all right, play the jack in the curl, play the corner up, and play 2 deep on that side. So it gives you the flexibility in coverage to be able to do a lot more things to the single side, and then in 2x2 it gives you the flexibility to change your coverages and who the 4th rusher is. It gives you that presence in the C-gap to give you a guy that is normally a good pass rusher. That's what he's there for. In the old 3-4 days, that guy, you know, if you think about like a James Harrison with the Steelers, you know, that guy's a pass rusher 90% of the time in the NFL. He's got to maybe be a curl flat guy, maybe carry it back out of the backfield here or there, but you're playing to his skill set. So it gives you a guy that gives you C-gap presence, gives you the ability to have a 4th rusher, gives you the ability to change the 4th rusher, gives you the ability to be flexible, all right, to the single side in coverage with how you play your coverages. So to me, it just makes you makes you a little bit more multiple, a little bit more diverse in your package. It creates a little bit of confusion sometimes in the pass protection schemes with where the rushers are coming from. In the big boy world with all the sims and the creeps, those pressures that are now becoming third down deals, when you study why those guys are doing it. A lot of times third downs used to be they would sell out and play some type of, either fire zone or man free and try and bring 5 or 6 and sell out on third downs. And basically the sim stuff was created to come up with safer pressure. How can we pressure, get the matchups we want, either get a guy on the back that we want, keep the back in protection so they can't get 5 out, change the look for the center and where they're going, get the quarterback off his spot, all right, or get the quarterback to pull his eyes down because of what he thinks the rush is. All those blitzes were created, or those sim pressures, they were kind of created for some third down scenarios. Now, they're being run on every down, don't get me wrong, but when you study why they were kind of created to be run on third down scenarios, to get guys to be able to be in safer pressures where they could affect the QB, but also feel like they were still dropping 7 in coverage. And that's where, the mid-front package with that jack up there kind of gives you a little more options. Now, that's not the only front and combination. You'll see the sim pressures and the creeper blitzes if you study guys on Twitter, and a lot of guys that analyze college football and post film and playbooks and things like that. There's a million different ways to do it, but in my mind, that's just one of the ways. When you watch some of the guys playing it, those are some of the easy ways to get into some of those things. So to me, that jack on the backside gives you flexibility in coverage, gives you flexibility in your fourth rusher, who it is. If it is the jack, it gives you flexibility with the 2-man games and possibly 3-man games. You can run looping the nose and doing different things. So, with that guy out there with the skill set that he has, I think it makes you a little bit more multiple, a little bit more diverse. And again, it's all a matter of what you want to teach. I go back all the time and I look at all the things that we could do with the jack backer to the single and all the ways we could change coverage up. And the bottom line is, I only saw passes 15 to 20% of the season. So how much time am I really going to spend putting in all these exotic coverages with the jack, or different spins or rotations or things we could do to the single, or how much time do I want to spend doing all that when I only see passes 15% of the time? What I really need to make sure when I get into that front with the jack is making sure that our run fits are sound and making sure that we're putting ourselves in the best case scenario to defend runs, because as good as all the coverage stuff is and the exotics are and the sims and the creepers and all that stuff is, for me, where I am, 80% of the time it's run, and we got to be able to defend and stop runs. So, all that stuff is great. It's great football talk. I love learning it. I love studying it. Nothing you see me draw up here is really my idea. It might be my spin on other people's ideas, but it's all stuff that I've taken from somebody else. It's all stuff that I've borrowed and learned from other people. So, that's the great thing about football. You get to learn, you get to borrow, you get to steal stuff. So, I could sit here in the off season and draw up a bunch of different ways from the mint package. I would like that guy. I'd like to create a different fourth rusher. I'd like to create some different coverages to a single receiver, some different packages in 3x1 where I can drop 8. Those are all things that are great. How many scenarios during the high school season are going to come up where I need them or where I use them, and is it cost efficient, time effective for me to do all those things? But as far as the video for Luke, thank you for watching the question. Those are some of the ways I would scheme up the jack in the min front, in the rush game, in the 2-man game, 3-man stunt game, blitzes that could be peeled, different sim pressures where he can be a curl flat player and bring a guy from the other side. If I was predominantly a mint front team, or in the old days when we were a 3-4 team, those are the things that we'd be trying to do with that weak side rush linebacker or that boundary side rush linebacker. So Luke, I hope it helps. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for giving me a topic to try and do a video on to hopefully help the football community out there. If you don't have if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you don't have your notifications turned on, make sure you turn them on so you know every time we do a video or every time I jump on to do a YouTube live, you'll get a notification. Always remember to thumbs up, thumbs down the video. Lets me know the topics that you like. You don't like it, lets me know how I describe the topic. If you like it or don't like it, it lets me know that I need to do a better job teaching it or describing the topic. And then as always, leave a comment just like Luke did. And if your comment is about a video I could possibly do, if I can do it and think I can do it justice, I'll try and do it. So again, thanks for everything that you guys do. Make sure you're staying safe out there. If you're playing football still, good luck to you. If you're playing or starting to play football sometime in January or whatever it is because your state had different rules, good luck to you. Stay safe, do all the things you need to do. Appreciate everything you do for us, and remember, you won't play well until you play fast. See you next time.